And the KEC International is a stock that has been in focus. It's won 2,000 crore plus orders just this week. Remember that there was a huge cabinet announcement yesterday on smart cities, etc. And in that infra play, KEC International is also one of the stocks that has been buzzing. Vimal Kejriwal, Managing Director and CEO of KEC International, now joining us on the show. Mr. Kejriwal, a very good morning to you and thank you for speaking with us here at NDTV Profit. Let's talk about this order win spree first. What kind of details can you give us for both the order wins this week? One, of course, 1,171 crores in the Middle East. Let's start with that one.
Good morning, Tamanna. Thank you for having me. So what we announced yesterday evening was two orders which we got, one from Saudi and one from UAE, Abu Dhabi. So that was 1,100 crores, both in transmission.
So both in transmission, and you had another order win of 1,079 crores in India, Middle East and America for supply of various types of cables, etc. Now, tell us what is the order pipeline outlook looking like for the year?
So, Tamanna, even the earlier one which we announced, almost 90% was in transmission and largely Middle East and little bit in India. Now, as far as the order pipeline is concerned, so this year we already got orders of close to 10,000 crores, 9,900 and odd, and we are L1 in another 7,500. Our stated announcement is that we should be doing around 25,000 crores of order intake for the year. And as of today, our tender pipeline, which is tenders which we have quoted right now, which are not yet open, or tenders which we are going to quote in next, let's say, 2 or 3 months, is roughly around 150,000 crores. A very large tender pipeline on top of the current order intake and L1s.
Are you looking set to beat that 25,000 crore rupee order inflow target?
I'll keep my fingers crossed. But what is happening now is that let's say we have around 15,000, if you add not even 15, actually it's 17,000 in our bag sort of, we are trying to improve the quality of the orders. So, being very selective, more cash flow accretive, more margin accretive. So honestly, I'm looking at, instead of beating the order guidance, should we be beating, looking at the margin guidance better for the next year and all that, so that we get better orders this year.
Well, hi, it's also Samina joining in, and of course, thank you very mumuch for taking the time out. I see you've got a little bit of injury on your hand, is it? Hope you feel better soon. But I want to talk about something that stood out for me. So while your order book looks exceptionally healthy, and we can't argue that in the order wins, the pipeline, all a thumbs up, execution has been a little bit of a challenge because of the lack of semi-skilled labor. And we saw the reflection of that in terms of your earnings reporting as well in the first quarter. Would it be a fair assumption to make that your execution challenges are now behind you, and the next 6 months execution will pick up and hence the same will be reflected on revenue growth?
Good morning, Samina. I think you are right. What we announced, we have been talking about a 15% growth and we are still sticking to it. Execution has been a challenge both in terms of labor, in our civil business, in our T&D business. Also, a little bit challenge still continues on the supply chain side, especially on pipes and transformers and conductors. Although it's easing out. What has happened is that this challenge has been going on for more than a year, so people have expanded capacity. We have put up our own plant. So supply chain challenges are slowly easing out. Labor challenge, I'll say, still continuing. In the last 1.5 months, we were able to get additionally 3,000 or 4,000 people. But we are still short of almost 20% people, and it's across the industry. We had expected that, people had gone home for elections and they'll come back. They took their own sweet time to come back, and now we've hit the monsoons. So there have been the 2 challenging quarters. Otherwise, we would have probably done better. But we are slowly seeing labor returning. Also, what is happening, Samina, is that with this continuous challenge, all the contractors and specialists are also looking at how do we mechanize more, automate, what else can we do, use precast, etc. So that, we can sort of reduce the volatility in the entire system of project execution revenue. That's what we're trying to do.
You know, you mentioned of how the Middle East business is looking good, and the recent order wins have come in from UAE, Saudi Arabia, and I'm guessing the other Middle Eastern countries. What has changed there? Are you bidding for more orders in the Middle East? Is it just a function of a pickup in construction activity in the Middle East, or have you changed your strategy here?
So the third country we got a
Right, so I think we have a bit of an audio issue with you. We'll try and go back to Mr. Kejriwal, but remember KEC has been bagging significant orders, and there's been also improvement in operational efficiency of the company. They've paid up some debt, their US subsidiaries also looking good. So Kejriwal, I was coming back to you on this. Has there been a change of strategy at KEC, and is that why you're bagging significant orders in that geography? Or is it just a function and nature of improved infrastructure activity in those countries? And also any other orders you're bidding for in the Middle East?
So I'll say it's a mix of various factors. One is clearly we are seeing much more business coming up, especially in UAE. Saudi has been consistently coming out with new tenders. UAE had been a little bit, I'll say during COVID and post-COVID also, they had been a little bit slow. But now we are seeing a lot of tenders. I think this is my fourth or fifth win in UAE during the current year. Okay. Saudi, we have got large L1. Saudi had announced these programs long back, and we are seeing a lot more focus on execution coming on. Number one. Number two, I'm seeing them a little bit out of NEOM into other pieces. So I think we are seeing a lot of development happening in the other parts of Saudi also. Third piece is that with the volumes going up, what is happening is that the competitive intensity is coming down, which is also helping us to win more orders at I'll say, better margin. I think those are the three things which have happened in this area.
Is it a fair assumption for me that you're bidding for a lot more tenders in the Middle East right now? Any outstanding tenders that you are at?
I don't have the exact number, but we have around 40,000 crores of tenders to be bid in international T&D right now.
Success rate? Or your win rate?
Typically, it used to be between 10 to 15%. I think right now it's improved to almost 20%, because we have also become a little bit more selective. We are not bidding to, let's say, all in country tenders with the order intake already improving. So I think it's now gone up to probably around 20%.
The odd crores is what you're looking to get from your global piece. Let's talk about margins, and you alluded to this, saying that your margins have improved in the business. What we saw in the quarter gone by, you had margins at about 5.99% at a firm level. I know cables, railways is a space that is still not at par with what T&D is doing, but you've reduced your finance cost, your US subsidy SAE is also done quite well. What is the margin outlook? Do you feel like there's an outside chance that margins will only improve in the next 6 months of this year?
100%. I think if you look at our numbers, I think we are slightly above 6. I don't remember the exact number. But our guidance for the year has been at 7.5%, which effectively means in Q3, Q4, we have to have a significantly better margin, because Q3, Q4 are also revenue-wise heavy. Generally, they'll be 60% and Q1, Q2 would be around 40%. So the margins will definitely go up. I think what is stopping us from the margins going up today has been what you alluded to, worker shortages and all that. So what is happening is that right now we are closing all the old projects which we had won last year, etc., which were obviously at a lower margin. And once the new projects which we are now winning are coming into execution, we will clearly see a margin improvement happening. We are very clear about that.
And up to 7.5%. Did I get that right, Mr. Kejriwal?
Yes, 7.5 for the year. Yes.
Okay. Oh, so that's great. That's a very robust margin guidance. Just wanted to get your take on an announcement that took place yesterday by Cabinet. 28,000 crores on smart cities and big boost to infrastructure. We're seeing that now rev up, in terms of government announcements. I'm wondering what that means for KEC International.
So we were actually present, I'll say, decent size in smart cities. But then over the last 2-3 years, we saw that government suddenly had gone off very cool on smart cities. So we have actually sort of toned down that business. We'll have to wait and watch as to when this announcement gets converted into actual business. Also, what happens is that this involves dealing with the local administration, the state. There are too many players in the smart city game. So unless and until the whole piece gets smoothened out, I don't see a great opportunity today. Okay, maybe after 6 months, this opportunity can become big.
If you can give us a little detail of what that opportunity looks like, and I completely understand the point about if you're dealing with too many administrations, it becomes difficult to implement. But if you can break it down, what would that opportunity look like?
So some time back when we were doing reasonably okay, we have done around I think 7 or 8 projects in smart cities. That time we had thought we'll do around 1,000 or 2,000 crores of revenue every year in smart city. Right now we have toned it down, okay? And we'll wait for the opportunity to actually unfold and see what sort of tenders come out, what sizes, is it a complete system integration or they break it into pieces and all that. We'll have to just wait and watch how does this translate into actual, ordering or tendering.
Sir, I know for a fact that the cables, railways and the civil engineering segment has been lagging behind for KEC International. Are you seeing an improvement here? Are you seeing more inquiries, more tenders, more business coming your way on this vertical?
So, cables has been lagging behind because of the volatility in metals. Aluminium and copper, which is the main raw material, have been going up and down. So, customers have been waiting. So, that's been the issue. But I think cables I'm not too much worried about. Our new plant on aluminum conductor will also get commissioned in Q3. Cables will pick up. Civil, we are growing very well. I think this quarter or last quarter also we grew by 30-35%. This year as a year we should grow by 35-40. We'll cross 6,000 crores of revenue. So growth is not a challenge. The challenge has been that we had some projects which are on the metro side which are getting into a bit of a problem. And also there were some cash flow issues earlier on water projects. Now with the budget having been done, and I think the cash flows and all will improve. So we will definitely see improvement happening on the civil side, both in terms of revenue and margins. Railways is a bit of a...
So that should be reflected in this quarter itself, the civil and the water plant improvement?
No. I think the cash flows have now started coming in, so it will be reflective in Q3 and Q4. H2 it will be reflective.
And you were talking to me about the railways piece.
So railways has been a bit of a disappointment in the way the contracts are right now getting executed. It's been a difficult journey. Okay, we have scaled down our railway business. This year we'll probably do around 2,500. Next year, I think right now government has announced large plans, new lines, some more on Kavach and others. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. I don't see any improvement happening this year. But if the fresh tenders come, much more contractor friendly, then probably next year we should start seeing a revival of the railway business.
So Kejriwal, I'd have loved to chat with you longer, but one last question, and I know you've retired some amount of your debt recently. Give me a quick update. Any more plans to reduce debt, to improve your debt equity ratio, and also expansion plans? You said you're adding capacity and there are no major supply concerns yet. Very quickly on expansion and your debt equity.
So we have been doing, routine expansion. We expanded our Dubai facility. We are now expanding our Jaipur facility. We are also expanding our cable facility. But these are all, annually we spend around 350-400 crores on capex. So that will continue. That will add to our list. Debt, what I expect is that with margins improving, and we have generally all working capital debt. So I think we should be able to improve our debt profile. Maybe the debt may not go down, but we are talking about a 15% growth in our business. So the absolute numbers may remain where they are, but as a percentage of revenue, like last year we were about 3%, so this year we should be probably 2.5% of interest cost to the revenue. So the overall interest cost regime will become much more beneficial, and this is not counting any reduction which RBI may do.
Right. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Kejriwal. Hope you feel better soon, and we'd love to chat with you longer and have a more detailed conversation. For now, your stock's getting very excited and happy with all the news flow. It's up about 5% as we see it. From one strong company to another, this one's Keynes Technology.